Hi everyone, it's me, Jen, Backcountry Stitcher, and I'm here to talk about cross stitch. I want to say thank you to everyone who is here, whether you're new or returning. I appreciate it so much, and I appreciate talking to all of you guys in the comments. I just wanted to say, and I think I kind of have been thinking about this, especially since I was just at Stitch West last weekend, but this whole Flosstube community is just absolutely incredible. It is such a positive community. It has been, for me, a great way to make friends outside of work. It's hard when you're an adult to meet new people, and I feel like this community has really helped me out a lot, and getting to meet some of the people that I talked to through Flosstube in person last week really just solidified how much I love this community. I really feel like Flosstube exemplifies what social media was made for. There's a lot of negativity out there in social media, and a lot of kind of people trying to be something they're not, but I think that this Flosstube community is it's so positive. People are so real. Everyone I met that I had seen through Flosstube was just how they are, just like how they are in their videos. Just absolutely wonderful and friendly and kind and talented. Anyway, I'm going on a rant or ramble. So anyway, what I wanted to say was thank you for being awesome, and thank you for coming to hang out with me every few weeks. I really, really appreciate it. So if you have not seen it, I'm not gonna talk about Stitch West in this video. This is gonna be more like a normal Flosstube video. I did do a whole separate vlog on Stitch West. I highly recommend it if you are interested. So you can find that on my page, on my channel, but definitely check that out if you're interested in knowing how that all went. There are definitely some fun stories. Probably the most embarrassing of which was how I met Teresa Kogut. So if you'd like to hear that, go check that video out. I am wearing one of my shirts that I got at Stitch West. It's my Cross Stitch Makes Me Happy shirt, and this shirt makes me very happy. I love the color and the design. And this was from What Are You Doing Studio. I think her name is Jennifer. She has an Etsy shop. I did not see these shirts on her Etsy shop, but I'm wondering if you messaged her, if you're interested. She had a couple, like a bunch of cross stitch like shirts and hoodies. So I'm hoping she'll put those up on her shop, but I'll put a link to it in the description below. So let's jump right into it. And I'm sorry, I'm a little stuffed up here today. So if I sound a little weird, I'm sorry. The weather has been changing here in Utah. It's been really dry, and so I tend to get kind of upper respiratory things around this time. So it's not COVID. I'm COVID free. So let's get started. I have 4 whips to show, which I thought I would have more, but I didn't really get as much stitching done at Stitch West as I thought because I was too busy talking. So first one is Warrior Kitty. I have not worked on Warrior Kitty. I realized it had been since June. If you don't know what Warrior Kitty looks like, I forgot to bring my picture up with me, so I'll insert a picture right here. So this is from the Cross Stitch Studio. This is a snippet, so it is not the full piece is enormous. This is just a snippet. So this is where, I didn't take it off the scroll frame, but this is where we are at today. So I worked on this a little bit this week after work. So I think I got like maybe 500 stitches in it since we last saw it. So the only thing I did was I finished this 10 stitch wide diagonal. So I'm at like 53%, I think, complete on this. So I still have this square to do. I probably won't get to this for a minute, and I'll kind of explain why in a little bit, but I did do this diagonal, so I rounded out his eye, the top of his eye. He looks a little weird with just the tops of his eye there, his eyes. But he is coming along. I am still loving working on him, and he is so cute. So cute. So that's Warrior Kitty. Drake Warrior Kitty. So my next one, and oh, I also wanted to mention, this is one of those thread bobbins I got at Stitch West. This cute little fox. I should put the kitty one on here. I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, so the next one I have is from the Cricket collection, and this is their autumn piece. They have spring, summer, and winter as well, which I'm going to be stitching on these during those actual seasons. So for the winter solstice, I'm going to start winter. I should probably figure out when the winter solstice is, so I know, so I can be prepared and have the fabric for it. It's probably a good idea. So I worked on this at Stitch West, and I think the last time, pardon me, I think the last time I showed this, I was still working on the M, but here is where I am at. So I finished the M, I had the U finished, and I finished the M, and I started on the N. I finished the bat here too, and the moon. That's cute. There we go. I did change, you can't really tell on here, but the colors of the eyes of the bat was like super, super neon green. So I changed it to just like a little less neon green. I know it's just like a couple of stitches, but yeah. The other thing I did too, and this was a friend of mine helped me figure this out, but if you look in the, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but the turkey looks a little sad because his beak's a little droopy right here. So there was just one stitch that was making his beak droopy, and I just left that one stitch off because I didn't want to sad. He just looked really sad to me, and I feel like turkeys' beaks don't droop, so yeah. So that's where we're at with autumn. And I'm hoping to finish the N sometime soon. But I worked on this at Stitch West. I got pretty, I mean, considering I was talking a lot, which if you know me, you shouldn't be surprised about, I think I got a pretty decent amount done. So that is autumn. Oh, and I got, so I'm going to show you this now instead of in haul, but I had to go to Shepherd's Bush today to get some fabric. I drove all the way up to Ogden, which is about an hour-ish from my house, but I bought a couple of things while I was there. I'll show you more in the haul, but for my autumn piece, I got these little buttons. I don't know if they're a little blurry, but there's like some leaves in there, and there's a little bat and some pumpkins, and then there's this teeny tiny little candy corn. So because they have that autumn piece on display, and they had added some buttons to it, and I said, ooh, that looks really cute. I would like to add some buttons, and they didn't have the button pack for like what they had put on, so I just picked out some of my own, and I think I'll put some buttons on that. So should be cute. So the next one is actually a new start. So this is, let me just get this settled here. This is the second Year in the Woods series, the Swans. And I started this the week before Stitch West thinking I was going to work on this at Stitch, and I didn't, but I did get a pretty decent start on it. So I am stitching this. Oh, I should mention, Autumn is on 32 count Lugana in the color Vintage Country Mocha by Picture This Plus. And then this, I'm stitching on 32 count linen in the color Storm by Picture This Plus. And this is where I am at so far. So I started in the center, and I'm starting with that one swan. So a lot of white, or I guess it's chalk from, it's Simply Shaker chalk is all of that white. So that's my start on the swans. Still have a long way to go on that, but I love it. It's so pretty. I mean, it looks a little weird without his beak, but you can see where I'm going with this. So that is the swans. And then, oh, okay, I just have one more whip. So the stitching part I don't think is going to be very long today. So this one is my Mirabilia. I also worked on this at Stitch West. This is Cathedral Woods Goddess. So, and this picture, the more I'm stitching it, the more I realize this picture does not do her any justice. Like this, it just looks so drab. And we were talking about, I don't know who's picking out the fabric for these Mirabilias, but for the model stitch, I don't know. They seem a little bland. So anyway, so this is Cathedral Woods Goddess. And I think I got quite a bit done since the last time I showed her. I think since the last time I added this horn in, and then I definitely have started in on this side. So I actually completed, I have this split into like 4 pages essentially. So I've finished one of the pages, which is a little bit more than 25% of the pattern, not including the beads. I'm doing all the beading last. I think I'm going to do that on a scroll frame. But I did add in all of this in her shoulder here. I added in this horn, and guys, it's so sparkly. Look at that. And then I added in whatever this is that I don't know. There's like leaves and branches and stuff coming out from everywhere. I love her. She's so sparkly. But like I said, the more I stitch on this, the more I realize that picture does not do her any justice at all. And I feel like that's true of a lot of the Mirabilias. This is stitched on 32 count linen, or sorry, excuse me, 32 count Lagana on Color Heritage by Picture This Plus. And I did stitch, it's all 2/2. I did not do the skin 1/1. I'll be honest with you guys, I just did not have the patience for it. It just was a little, excuse me, it was just a little much for me. So I decided to stick with 2/2 for all of for the skin and everything. I am going to another retreat this coming weekend. I'm going to Stitching in the Springs with Alara and Suki, the Brown-Eyed Stitcher. They're both going to be there, and I'm going to bring her, work on her, as well as another whip. Speaking of which, so I can't show you guys anything, but I think I can tell you that I mentioned that I got to meet Jan Hicks in my Flosstube extra, and I wasn't sure if this was actually going to happen or not when I filmed, but it is happening. She has created a new pattern, and the short story is that we got to talking, and she asked me to do the model stitch for it. So that is my other whip that I cannot show. I'm going to have to be stitching on it furiously to try and get it done as soon as I can for her. And once it is done and she releases the pattern, I'll be able to show you guys. But I was really, really excited. I've never been asked to do a model stitch before. She did check my stitching out before she asked me to do it. So, which was crazy that she saw my stitching and was like, oh yeah, this girl can do a model stitch for me. That's fine. So it's all kind of a new experience for me, but I'm really excited. I don't know when I'll be done with it, but I'm hoping soon. That was the piece of fabric I had to go to Shepherd's Bush for today because I was looking for the right fabric for it. So I will share that with you guys when I can. So that is that stuff. That's all of my like actual stitching. So I'm going to go into haul. First of all, I'm not going to go into my haul from Stitch West. I did cover that in my vlog. I have a bunch of haul from Stitch West. I should not be allowed to have money at a cross stitch retreat. Let's just say that. So, but this is some haul that I got from before the retreat and some haul after. So first thing I want to share is some Stitchy Kindness that I actually got this a while ago, but I didn't want to share it because I didn't want to spoil the surprise for other people. So Christina, who you can find on Instagram at Stitchy Symphony, she was so kind and she made name tags for those of us that she knew were coming to Stitch West, and she made one for me and Jamie from Cross Stitch and Chill, as well as one for Renee, the Appalachian Stitcher, and one for herself, of course. And check this out. She made this, and I wanted to share this so bad in my last Flosstube, but Jamie and Renee had not gotten theirs yet, so I didn't want to spoil the surprise. So that is designed and stitched by Christina, Stitchy Symphony, and she put our little, she put my YouTube handle on it. The little, I could never be this creative. This is probably one of the best gifts I've gotten in a long time. So it really meant a lot to me. She also got me, because this was also kind of a birthday gift thing too. This is hilarious. This is a needle minder. And if you don't know what this is, let's see if it's not going to focus, I don't think. Nope. This is a Torah. So, you may realize from my previous videos, I'm Jewish, and the Torah is basically the first it's the 5 books of the Old Testament, and it's on a scroll, and that's what we read from at services. And I just love this so much because, first of all, there's not a lot of Judaica stuff out there in the cross stitch world, but the fact that someone would make a needle minder from a Torah is hilarious to me. So I absolutely love this. So that's my Stitchy Kindness from Christina. Thank you, Christina. You are amazing. I love these so much. And I am wearing this to every single retreat that I go to forever. I just want you guys to know that. I may just wear it around town too. Who knows? All right, so haul. Where should I start? So I was really excited because, so for the swans, the specialty thread, excuse me, pardon me, the sampler threads from the Gentle Arts, it calls for the chalk, but also Grecian gold, which has been really difficult to find this year. But I did find it, and I got two things of it. So I was able to, I had it to notify me on 123 Stitch when it became available. And as soon as I saw it was available, I bought it. because I couldn't find it anywhere. So got that. I got, so last time I had shown you guys, I had bought, I think it was the swans and the jackrabbit. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't buy all of the rest of the year in the woods. And then, you know, I thought about it and I was like, why didn't I do that? I did it. I bought them all. Well, except for the last one. The last one's on its way, which if you have not seen the last one, the reindeer, guys, you probably have all seen it. I'm not going to go through all of these because I'm pretty sure y'all have seen these all by now. I mean, these are some of the most amazing patterns I've seen in a long time. Like, they're just amazing. So I do have the last one on its way. Now I also bought, I bought Heather, who the 20-minute stitcher. Her mother stitched a pattern that was so cute. And I was like, what pattern is that? I want that in my life. And I was like, this will be perfect for work. So she told me and I got that. It's Hissed Off. I mean, so I'm a vet, right? Like, how perfect would that be to have in my office? Hissed Off. It's just perfect for me to have in general. The angry little kitty. I love angry cats. Like, love them. They're so cute when they're angry. It's very rare that I see an angry cat that I don't like. So hold on a second. My Google Home just started talking and I'm not entirely sure why. So anyway, so this is Hissed Off and I just thought that was really cute. This is by Silver Creek Samplers and I'm excited to stitch that. Okay, I don't know when I'm going to stitch any of these things, guys, but I'm going to because I'm going to live forever. That's my plan. That's my plan for how to stitch all of these things. I got this from Shepherd's Bush today. Let me take that out of the plastic. It's a needle minder and it's a cat because cats are awesome. And so that was cute. I got this pattern from the Blackberry Rabbit at Shepherd's Bush today. So I didn't go to Shepherd's Bush during Stitch West because I can go to Shepherd's Bush anytime because it's where I live. But if you want to see a tour of Shepherd's Bush, Renee, the Appalachian Stitcher, has some good video of it. And I think Renee is the one that I saw that has some good footage of Shepherd's Bush. There are model stitches everywhere. And I just happened to walk by this one and I was like, oh, that's cute. So I'll get it. It's called Queen Bee. And it's by, like I said, the Blackberry Rabbit, which was a designer I had not heard of before. It's a very simple pattern. There is Krennic in it. So it's got a little sparkle. So I got that. And now this I'm super excited about. So there's a shop on Etsy. It's owned by Tiffany Robich, and it's Black Cat X Stitchery. She makes project bags, and I've gotten several of them in the past from her, but I saw this on her site, and I was like, I absolutely have to have this. It's a Ruth Bader Ginsburg project bag. It has quotes from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it has if you are not familiar with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she was a Supreme Court justice who meant a lot to a lot of people, a lot of women especially. But she had these collars that she would wear with her with her robes. She was very much known for them. She had her dissenting collars, her collars for when she was in agreement with something. They all meant something. And so this fabric has all of her collars. And I did get the little thread bed with it too. So yeah, I just thought that was pretty incredible that first of all, that there's fabric out there like this. I don't know where she found it, but that's pretty incredible. So that's my haul. I am very happy with all of the things I bought. I may not have needed all of them, but I am happy, and that is all that matters, right? So thank you guys so much for being with me. If you are here for the stitching, let me just make sure. Yeah, I think that's all of the stitching stuff. So if you're here just for the stitching, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This community means so much to me. So if you are interested in hanging out with me a little bit more and just hearing me ramble on, I am going to talk about Redwood, which is Redwood National and State Parks. So this was the third stop on our epic trip from this year. And this park, it's not just Redwood National Park, it's Redwood National and State Parks. And are 3 state parks that the state of California, first of all, this is all located in northwestern California, pretty close to the Oregon border. It's not too far from Oregon. So it's made up of 3 state parks, and then there's one that's officially designated national park, but they're all managed the same. They have like the same overlying management body. They work together. And the 3 state parks are Del Norte Coast State Park, Jedediah Smith State Park, and Prairie Creek State Park. I wrote down some notes, so because I didn't want to forget anything. And by the way, it is Jedediah with a D, not Jebediah, which I kept calling it the entire time we were there. Don't know why it's Jedediah, but it is. So this park is kind of cool because it's not just the redwood forest. There's actually a lot of coastline on there too. It's a temperate rainforest climate, and it's interesting. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this, but it's super foggy on the coast. And the interesting thing is that fog is really important because it provides a ton of water to the redwoods. The redwoods actually suck up the water from the fog. So even though it really impinged on our views when we were driving along the coast, it's very important. The state parks were created first, and I think it was sometime around in the 1920s or so, they started trying to protect them from loggers. And then they decided, the federal government came in and said, we're just going to create this national park area just to protect the rest of the redwoods in this northwestern California area. And I think it's about 45% of the existing coast redwoods are protected in these parks. If you are going, there are multiple different campgrounds to go to. You cannot book them through the recreation.gov website, which is how you book most stuff through national parks, but you have to go through like the California State Parks website. It gets a little bit confusing, but there's a bunch of different campgrounds. We stayed in Mill Creek Campground in the Del Norte Coast State Park. Highly recommend that campground. I think on that trip, we went to 5 parks. That was probably our favorite campground. Bonus, they had showers, which when you have been on the road I think we had been on the road for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks at that point, when we finally took a shower. It was great. It was a fantastic shower. So I do recommend the Mill Creek Campground. There's a few other campgrounds that are popular. Gold Bluffs was another one that I looked at that was booked up, and that seems to be a really popular one, but it's more in the beach area, and we actually drove by it, and it's pretty well exposed. So For us, it wouldn't have been great because we were sleeping in the truck. It just wasn't conducive to what we needed. There's also Elk Prairie, which is in the Prairie Creek State Park. That's kind of cool because one of the animals that lives in Redwood, in the parks in that area, is a Roosevelt elk, which is just a different species of elk, and they're pretty cool. We did run into some, and we sat and watched them for quite a while. There was a few males kind of herding up their females. I'm not really sure what they were doing, but they were pretty cool to see. But the Elk Prairie campground is right next to these fields where the Roosevelt elk like to be. So it's a really great elk viewing area, I guess. There is a lot of hikes. This park is very spread out. We were staying more kind of on the northern end, and there were some days where we had to drive like over an hour to get to the hike we were doing. Couple of easy hikes that I would recommend. The first one we did was Stout Memorial Grove, and they say it's about a half a mile, but I feel like it was longer. Maybe it felt like it was longer because we had to walk from where we parked. It's very popular, so we had to park pretty far away from the trailhead. Even though it's only a half a mile and it's a half a mile loop, we still got lost. There was a little offshoot that Mark and I decided we were gonna go explore, and then when we came back, we turned the wrong direction. And there you have it. We didn't get that lost. We just got turned around, basically. I mean, it's hard to get lost on a very popular trail that's only half a mile, but we managed to do it. We also did nearby is the Leafer Loop Trail. That's about a mile and a half. And that's really nice because it's not as populated. It's really close to the road, but it doesn't take walking too far to get away from the road noise. So I really liked that trail as well. We also did the Yurok Loop and Coastal Trail, which is on the shoreline, and that will take you to a beach, which is really pretty. That was about 2.5 miles, I think. Very easy, not a lot of elevation gain or change. All of these trails were really, except for one I'll mention, were really, really easy. This is not a difficult park to explore. Another really easy trail is Lady Bird Johnson Grove, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Lady Bird Johnson Grove. It's about a mile and a half, totally flat. Takes you through all of the redwoods, and it's a very popular one. We hit it a little bit later in the day, so it wasn't as populated, but beautiful, beautiful redwoods. The redwoods, I should mention, so these redwood trees are enormous. They're like 300-ish feet tall, maybe up to 400-ish feet. They are tall. Like, I don't think I could have imagined a tree being that as tall as they were. They're pretty wide around. They're not as wide around as the sequoias, but they're taller than the sequoias. And the only way I can describe being amongst the redwoods is it's almost like a spiritual experience. It feels like it reminded me of when I went to Europe. I went to some of the, this was years ago, I went to some of the old cathedrals. And I'm not a super religious person, but you get kind of that feeling when you're in these old cathedrals, like how beautiful they are, and you feel like you have to be really quiet. That's how it feels when you're in the redwoods. It's a cathedral-like environment because they are just so enormous and so gorgeous. And I don't know why I felt like I had to whisper when I was in these groves, especially when there was no one around. There were a lot of times where we were just in these groves and there just weren't many people around, or there was no one around. It was just us. and I just felt like I had to be really quiet. I don't know why, but they're magical. They're magical. They have to be seen to be believed. Um, there are a couple of other hikes. So the two hikes that I probably recommend the most, you have to get permits for. So one is Fern Canyon, which if you watch anything on Redwood National and State Parks, Fern Canyon will come up. It is a very easy trail. You can do it as a 1 mile loop where you walk through the canyon and then you walk up like really high and then over the canyon. But we just walked through the canyon and back along the little creek there. And it's like, everyone jokes that it's like stepping into the world of the dinosaurs, and it kind of is, because they filmed a scene from this Jurassic Park 2 there, and it really feels like you're in like the Cretaceous period or whatever. It's gorgeous. There aren't redwoods there. I don't think there were any actual redwood trees there, but you're walking along this creek and there's greenery and there's like this ivy coming down from the sides of the canyon. And it's a small canyon. It's not super deep. It's beautiful. Now you do need a permit to do that. And I will put in here the website to go to if you would like to get a permit for this hike. And then the other hike you need a permit for is called the Tall Trees hike. And this is a bigger hike. It's about 4.5-ish miles. And you need a permit because there's a gate code. You actually have to enter a code to get through the gate to the trailhead. And it's not hard to get a permit. You just have to go to the website and pick the day that you want to do it and get a permit. So it's a little bit tougher of a trail because the whole loop is it's a lollipop loop. So you hike down and then you do a loop and then you hike back up. But the trail descends about 800 feet, which is 800 feet in about a mile and a half-ish, about a mile and a half. It descends 800 feet, which going down, no big deal, right? Like you're just dropping down 800 feet. Well, you have to climb back up. So you go down and then there's this grove of trees, of redwood trees. And it's so cool because it's such a beautiful hike. But there aren't many people there because you have to get a permit. There's like an extra step you have to do so it keeps people out. Not that you want to keep people away, but it just preserves the trail a little bit, and the experience is pretty cool. So there's about a mile ish, little over a mile loop that you do through these trees. It's beautiful. I had no complaints about this hike. It was gorgeous. It was quiet. Well, I guess the only complaint I have was hiking out. It wasn't that bad, actually. So you have to hike out about 800 feet up at the end. They actually have benches along the trail, which when we were hiking down, we saw the benches and we were like, that's not a good sign for coming out, that we're going to need benches. So anyway, it's called Tall Trees Trail. And again, you get a permit at the same site. Pretty sure it's the same site that you get it for Fern Canyon. If it's a different site, I'll put it down below, but I think it's the same website. The one other thing I want to mention about Redwood is actually not part of the parks. So we were driving to a trail and we saw this giant statues of Paul Bunyan and Blue, the ox, which is an old, like, American folklore tale. The story doesn't matter. What matters is that they were these giant statues. And like one of Paul Bunyan like talks, they have it moves. I don't know. It looks like it's like a roadside attraction. And it's this place and it's called Trees of Mystery. And it's a privately owned place. they have these statues, they have a big gift, like huge gift shop. So you're like, oh, this is just like a cheesy roadside attraction. Well, we decided to pull over and check it out because we were like, oh, maybe we can get a souvenir or whatever, which we did, but that's another story. But they have their own privately owned grove of redwood trees. And for, I think it was like $20 a person. So it's not super cheap, but I mean, we decided to do it. You can go in and walk around this grove, and let me tell you, amazing redwoods. And it became very clear that even though this was a for-profit operation, these people that own this facility clearly really care about these trees, and really care about preserving them. So we did that. The other cool thing you can do there is a canopy walk. So they actually have like, you climb up on stairs and they have bridges, these canopy bridges that go between the trees. So you're like up amongst the trees, walking through on these bridges. And it was super, super cool. They also have a sky tram, I think it's called. It's like a gondola that you just like take up to this viewpoint. And that was pretty neat. And all of this is included in your admission. There's no extra fees or anything like that. And yeah, it was super fun. I was super surprised. I was not anticipating this facility or this place to be as cool as it was. But if you are there, it's worth checking out, honestly. It's a lot of fun there. So that is my summary of Redwood National and State Parks. I hope you enjoyed that. And again, I always want to let people know I am not an expert on any of this. This is, again, all based on my personal experiences and what I've read. I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to pass along information, I guess. So thank you for joining me next week, or not next week, in a couple of weeks when I come back. I will talk about Lassen Volcanic National Park. Next week, I am going to Stitching in the Springs in Dayton. Well, it's just outside of Dayton, Ohio. So I don't know if I'm going to do a vlog for that one because it's a much smaller retreat, but I don't know. I think I'll try. So we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, leave me a comment. You can follow me on Instagram as well at backcountry_Stitcher. You can send me an email. You can communicate with me however you want. I'm always happy to talk to people and to make new friends. So you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you in a few weeks. Bye.